Harry's Wife, Part 101.77, Ignited Fury. Queen Admonishes. Queen Elizabeth II, of course, has shuffled off this mortal coil, but she'll be long spoken about. In her own right, and of course, for the purpose of helping us understand more about the interactions with Harry's wife, as more and more information comes forward about the behaviours of Harry's wife. The disclosures from the staff in Valentine's Lowbug confirm what has often been spoken about and, of course, what Tom Bauer had unearthed, demonstrating that, as a consequence of a threat to control, in some instances, her narcissism creates a cold fury. The sulking, staring, the cold shouldering. It might cause her to issue pity plays. In other instances, it might cause her to try and behave in a benign fashion, being sympathetic, or at least apparently so, doling out spicy poontang. And then in other instances, the ignited fury of a heated variety comes to the surface. Ignited fury churns beneath the surface of the narcissist, and its job, its purpose, is to propel the narcissist where there is wounding or challenge, to ensure the narcissist nullifies that challenge and draws fuel. If you'd like to understand more about it, I would direct you to read my excellent book, Fury. But we now turn to the US Sun with an article by Britta Zeltman that tells us, not amused, how the Queen once told Harry's wife off for being rude to staff before her wedding to Prince Harry. Another example of the haughty, unpleasant and rude behaviours of Harry's wife. The Queen is said to have given Harry's wife a telling off after she ranted to a caterer about her vegan wedding menu, a new book has claimed. Perhaps this is the notorious vegan talking about having bacon involved or roasting a chicken. The number of times that Harry's wife proclaims that she's a vegan, yet there are so many instances of her eating meat, and no, that's not a euphemism, that causes one to think, yes, part-time, vegan, namely, her narcissism selected it when it suits her. Her Majesty, who was laid to rest last Monday, is said to have walked in on the Duchess of Sussex during the tense exchange ahead of her wedding to Harry in 2018. Harry's wife was said to be tasting some of the dishes for her big day at Windsor Castle when she became quite upset over one of the vegan options. Well, I suppose if you're being offered cardboard, you might kick off, I guess. A source told journalist Katie Nicholl the Duchess said she could taste egg in it. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, what fresh hell is this? There is egg. She can taste egg. I suspect that she probably couldn't, but her narcissism, in order to compel her to assert control over the tertiary source caterer, causes her to believe that she tastes egg, so that she then belittles this individual. In other words, a lie. There'll be those of you who will have no doubt created a magnificent feast, a banquet for the narcissist you were involved in. And when everybody else who attended was going, what a fantastic banquet this is, an absolute smorgasbord of delight. Thank you so much for creating this. The fact that you're getting the praise is fuel that's not going to the narcissist. You, of course, aren't a narcissist and don't need fuel, but that doesn't matter in the world of the narcissist. And the narcissism has to jump in. And so often the narcissist will go, it wasn't all that, or I thought the roast potatoes weren't as fluffy as they could have been, or actually the meat tasted a little bit dry to me. And of course, there's nothing wrong with what you've cooked. Indeed, there can't be. Everybody else is complimenting it. And they're not just doing that to blow smoke up your backside. What happens here, of course, the narcissism compels the narcissist to denigrate your food in order to draw your attention and theirs onto you, thus nullifying the threat to control and allowing there to be the gathering of fuel. And it's something similar, no doubt, that has happened here with Harry's wife. She got quite upset, saying that the dish was meant to be vegan and macrobiotic, when suddenly the Queen walked in and said, Harry's wife, in this family we don't speak to people like that, you twat. Katie's book, featured in the Mail on Sunday today, details a number of explosive moments alleged to have taken place in the build-up to the Sussex's wedding, and it claims Harry's wife is not the only one to have been scolded by the late monarch. The Queen is alleged to have given Harry a stern telling off after he supposedly shouted, "What Harry's wife wants, Harry's wife gets," at the Queen's dresser, Angela Kelly. And quite right, well done, Your Majesty. Get old Ginger Bollocks in line there. Katie Nicholl quotes the late Lady Elizabeth Anson as saying, "The run-up to the wedding was really very difficult for the Queen. She was very upset by how Harry had behaved, and some of his demands, and the way he went about things his own way. I remember being rather upset by how beastly Harry was being." Again, this demonstrates that Harry's narcissistic traits come to the fore as a consequence of the influence of Harry's wife. Their relationship was quite badly damaged by it all. Another thing that Harry perhaps might reflect on alongside his other behaviours towards his grandmother, as now she's no longer here. He will, undoubtedly, be weighed down with guilt. Katie quotes another source as saying the Queen was surprised Harry's wife wore white on her wedding day. I'll say, given the fact that it was her second, possibly third, and undoubtedly someone would be shouting, "Wearing white? That's fraud, surely." She also references other rumours which unfolded around the big day, including Harry's wife and Kate's row over Princess Charlotte's tights, and a supposed tiff over the Duchess's tiara. See elsewhere. This, of course, is just further evidence that supports the behaviours of Harry's wife and how she infected Harry's own behaviour and how that didn't impress the Queen, and how the Queen was moved to have to do something about it by basically getting Harry in line and also Harry's wife. Undoubtedly the Queen will have had Harry's wife's card marked, and while she did her best to facilitate the behaviours, she is no fool, or was no fool, and would recognise that this was a difficult person she was dealing with, and thereafter would approach her appropriately. Time and time again we're seeing through all of these various articles the increasingly unpleasant behaviour of Harry's wife being exposed. There'll be those that won't accept it, those who say, oh, it's just a smear campaign, but the fact is, this is all coming from different sources, from the Queen, from biographers, from members of the staff, from Prince William, and more besides. They can't all be wrong, and invariably, of course, because I've identified that she's a narcissist, these revelations are entirely commensurate with the way that a narcissist would behave, and enables you to understand more about what goes on behind the scenes and why a narcissist behaves in the way that she does. There'll be some that would think, well, she was under pressure. It was her wedding day. She was undoubtedly going to be tense about that. Well, that's what her narcissism will have told her, and that, of course, is what tells people, that is what people who don't understand narcissism will think. But all of her behaviours, as I've explained so many times, when it comes to dealing with other people, are driven by her narcissism. And her narcissism will utilise as an excuse the big occasion. Will use as an excuse feeling tired, and many other things besides, to deflect from what's really going on. The pursuit of the prime aims by the narcissism. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.